They're fast.
You hear the two sliders right here?
They're cheap. They're kitchens on wheels.
It's fresh, warm food to the top side.
Dote chorizo.
They can be as small as a push cart or as big as an 18-wheel tractor trailer. Food trucks are multiplying all across America. But their roots go back more than a century, to the days of the cowboys and the Wild West. Many of today's food trucks are triumphs of precision engineering. From a massive pig sheathed in fiberglass
Never thought I'd see myself ordering from a giant pig.
to a double-decker pizza kitchen with a real wood-burning oven.
Food trucks are definitely a modern marvel.
Now, in the heart of our nation's capital, dozens of food trucks gather for a 12-hour food truck festival. The place? An out-of-the-way parking lot. But you wouldn't know it for the crowds. More than 20,000 people will come here today for one thing only, the food trucks. 24 varieties of foods brought to them on wheels.
It took a long time to get this, but it was definitely worth it.
And this gathering is not unique. In cities and towns across America, food trucks are becoming a fixture. Yet there's a lot more to these colorful trucks than meets the eye. Years of technological innovation have transformed them from simple carts to ingenious kitchens on wheels, filling a need for workers who don't have time for a sit-down restaurant, and tempting others with an array of unusual foods.
It tastes seriously like the cake donut.
But as you might imagine, feeding crowds like this from a kitchen not much bigger than a pool table calls for high-tech engineering and teamwork. Even small restaurants often have kitchens over 1,000 square feet. The average food truck's kitchen is about 7 feet wide by 16 feet long. That's only about 100 square feet of kitchen space. And that's not all these food trucks have to juggle. They're off the grid, which means they must carry a generator for electricity, propane for their griddles and fryers, and water for cooking and cleaning. Not to mention all their supplies for a day on the road. As Armenco's latest truck rolls out of the shop, it joins an ever-growing variety of food trucks, from Airstream trailers to school buses. Here's a peculiar one that travels on land and sea, an amphibious ice cream truck.
Where's your ice cream?
And then there's that double-decker pizza kitchen, a Scottish bus in its former life. What makes it doubly unusual is its chimney and its wood-fired oven that weighs 3,000 pounds. No easy feat to accommodate, even on a food truck 30 feet long and 14 feet high.
We took out about 12,000 pounds of metal, of seats, and put in a whole bunch of stainless steel and mechanical equipment. But first, the oven was built. It's a brick and mortar oven on a stainless steel frame. It sits right over the rear axles.
The chimney goes straight up through the top of the bus, kind of like a mini choo-choo train. And that's how people know that we're there. They can smell the smoke, and we lure them in with that awesome wood-fired smell.
Margarita pizza? Really hot.
As more food trucks hit the streets, many entrepreneurs feel they need a gimmick to draw customers in. Some owners are going all out, like this eye-catching food truck in downtown Seattle. Meet Maximus Minimus, a giant mobile pig.
The term we use is an urban assault pig. It's kind of like what Mad Max would drive as a food truck.
The wrangler of the pig, restaurateur Kurt Beecher Dameyer. His inspiration for the food truck came from serving up a favorite dish to his restaurant staff, pulled pork sandwiches.
I love pork. My desert island food would be pork. Once we decided to do a truck selling pork, it had to be shaped like a pig.
But this isn't just any pig.
We wanted it to be rough, like maybe a Roman soldier would have used it because of the term Maximus Minimus.
Today, nearly 3 million food trucks troll the streets of American cities and towns, with at least 10 new ones starting up each week. But it might surprise you that the roots of this trend go back more than a century, to the very edge of rural America, Indian Territory. Food trucks rose out of the need to feed working men on the road. And in the 1800s, some of those men were the cattlemen of the American West. In 1866, Texas rancher Charles Goodnight was preparing for a huge cattle drive, moving a herd of 2,000 longhorns from Texas to an army post in what's now New Mexico. The journey would take 8 weeks on a dangerous trail through Indian Territory. Much of it was desert, where food would be hard to come by. So Goodnight modified a durable Army surplus wagon called a Studebaker and invented the Chuck Wagon, a kitchen on wheels. He mounted a wooden box to the back and added shelves and compartments to store condiments and cooking utensils. A hinged lid opened up to become the cook's workstation, as well as a table to serve food. Food on the cattle drives was simple and easy to keep, like beans and salted meats, biscuits and coffee. To the cowboys, Chuck was slang for good, heartwarming food, so the wagon became known as the Chuck Wagon. On the other side of the country, in the cities of New England, another kind of kitchen on wheels was taking off. The lunch wagon, whose night version was known as the Night Owl. Horse-drawn streetcars were joining their ranks too. As these wagons became obsolete, they were often retrofitted into food venues. When they lost their wheels, they gave birth to the American Diner.
The food truck industry is estimated to hit $1 billion by 2020. If you're not in, it's time to get in.